right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My name is Wayne Dupree, and we are live. It is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. We're only a month away from Christmas and almost end of 2025, going into 2026, which will be 40 years since I graduated from high school. Imagine that. This brother is getting old as dirt, but I'm not twice as weak. Okay, we got a couple of things to talk about. Then we're gonna let you go. You know what? I grew up in church, and there's a difference between churches today and yesterday. But and most of y'all know, believe me, I'm not racist, but I have to make the comparison because I love going to a white church when I was growing up, because you went in there, did what you have to do, and then you go home. By the time you go home, you watch a football game around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and whatnot. Go to a black church, you're in there for a couple hours. It's like you're in there for like 2-3 hours, man. It's like, oh man. And the reason why I said it is because what I was getting ready to say, got a couple things to talk about, and then I'll let you go. Whenever we heard that in the black church, we jumped for joy because we knew that we weren't going to be in church long. because maybe the pastor had to go somewhere else or whatnot. So he's like, yeah, there's a couple things I want to talk about, and then I'm going to let you go. Oh, we're going to get out of church early. Unless the Spirit of God takes over, and then we're back in there for about 2 or 3 hours. And that happened a lot too. But no, we got a couple things to talk about. We'll let you go. Thank you, bro. I'm holding out for us yesterday. I had a great time with each and every one of you. Jason is back with us. Jason is back with us today. What's up, Jason from Minnesota?
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Yeah, I'm getting a new crown on a tooth, and my temporary crown popped off. And then the dentist I called him. I'm like, my crown popped off. Can I get it put back on? Because if you've ever had a crown pop off, like anything you drink of any temperature other than like body temperature, then through the roof. So I'm like, Wayne, I really hate to do this to you, but I gotta go get a crown put on, or it will be unbearable. Let that be a lesson to you kids. Get your wisdom teeth taken care of when you should. And I gotta say, Wayne, if we talk white church and black church, I am gonna raise the stakes and go, the champion is the Asian church. So my buddy Mike, he has started dating a Hmong gal. They're actually going to be getting engaged. He asked her parents for permission, but he's not a church guy. He's not a believer, but he goes to church because her family's very churchy. And it'll be on Sunday, like, hey, I'm going to church. And he'll like check in at 9 o'clock in the work chat. I got my stuff done. And then it'll be like 5:30 in the afternoon. And he's like, okay, I'm getting home now.
Oh.
It's like the Asians make it like an all-day affair. And then this last weekend, they actually hit him on a Saturday church function too, because they do a big Thanksgiving thing. And who knew, like, Thanksgiving's next week already. And so they were planning all that stuff out. So he had the Saturday afternoon, evening, all day Sunday at church. And for a guy who's not real churchy, oh yeah, the Asians are the undisputed champions of making you stay at church for a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, proud to bring you the show. As you know, like I told you last week, this dude won't die. Jeffrey Epstein won't die.
Good.
We're going to be talking about him in the year 2035. I'm here to tell you. And sooner or later, he's going to go down in the history books. I believe it. I mean, even though he shouldn't, I believe he's going to go down in history books for stupidness. But okay, so here's the thing. The House is supposed to be voting today on releasing the files, and it looks like I just heard that there was a representative said 100% of the Republicans are going to vote to release the files, which it was only four for about a month or so, but it looks like 100% are going to vote to release the files. Here's the thing, Jason. I don't really think that they really have to vote this thing. I mean, if President Trump just, I mean, honestly, he's already did it. He's already told him to release it. But Bondi said there was nothing there. Right? So, I mean, this is, to me, I still think it's about a campaign thing. I think it's still a campaign issue because the midterms are next year. And if they don't get all that they want in it, then they're going to make that into a campaign issue. The Democrats, I'm talking about. Republicans are going to make it into an issue too. See, we gave it to you. We told you. Here it is, and the Democrats just won't let it go. We have other stuff we have to do. Before the show, you know how Twitter had, Twitter X, the abomination, has the videos that you can just watch, almost like Instagram and whatnot, and after another one, then the other one comes up.
Yeah, just scrolls.
Jason, I'm looking at, I see a Democrat, I see a Republican representative, and the Democrat such and such, and then the next one, and the Republicans such, and the Democrat, and the Republicans. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I got away from it. I was like, oh my God. It's just boom, 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 boom. I was like, a real person would just get tired of listening to that, But yeah, I mean, it's still, after they sign it, then it's supposed to go to the Senate. And then the Senate has to sign it. Now, many people were like, man, Trump still ain't going to sign it, but Trump said that he was going to sign it. Again, they don't need to do this, but they're going to do it this way. I think it's for the campaign midterms thing. But then it goes over to a DOJ, but then the DOJ still can't release it, even though Congress has asked them to, because the judge has said that you can't release it. So then they're going to have to do something with the judge. So I don't know. I don't see it being released anytime soon. How about you, Jason?
All right. Before I get into that, I just got to address a couple chat things. Lisa says they sell temporary crown and bridge cement at the pharmacy. Oh my God, Lisa. One of the few things in life I would ever want to try is gluing on my own temporary crown. But that's wild that you can get that at the pharmacy. And Digga had cataract surgery. Now, ironically, Steve, our little dog, had cataract surgery 2 weeks ago. And I told Wayne Monday night was his take his cone off. Mm-hmm. So hopefully Digga doesn't have to have a cone. Hopefully Digga can just take care of Digga and don't do the bending and stuff and get over it. Cataract surgery is no joke. I'm going to say this Epstein thing is remarkable. I mean, this story came out in 2019. By 2020, Giselle was prosecuted. She was sentenced in 2021. Okay. It's now almost 2026. It's the end of 2025. For those of us, we have a Substack where when we first launched it in 2022, we wrote 9 or 10, 10,000 word articles linking to court documents that we had to get through Freedom of Information Act. We've done deep dives on this. If we ever saw the real Epstein files, you would see hundreds, if not thousands, of elites just wiped out of civil society. I mean, Prince Andrew's gone. Who is that one guy that he served in Clinton, I think, as he just stepped down. He was at Harvard.
Summers?
Yeah. Yeah, he just stepped down because the latest drop.
Step back, not down.
Step back. But I'm saying there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people. I mean, in our elites and the institutions that would just be wiped out. Even if they aren't convicted, like nobody would have anything to do with them, in my opinion. I don't think the files really exist anymore. I think the files,
not in its original state. I'll tell you that.
Right. Yeah. The intelligence community has had these files for X number of years. They've been scrubbed, rescrubbed. The names that we want. Nobody's going to be prosecuted. It destroys me that happened. That has happened since 2019. Nobody's going to jail for it. And now you just are deep in the throes of political gamesmanship.
Yeah.
Democrats sense weakness on Trump by not releasing the files and the way Bondi handled it. Wayne's talked about that a lot. Messaging fail. But Democrats, none of these guys talked about it at all from 2020 to 2024. So they can all shut the F up as far as I'm concerned. Like, you guys had the power to release all this. You are just doing it for politics. So far, no Democrat, like, they're jokes. They're clowns. Look on their Twitter timelines. They would call us names for talking about Epstein. You're a conspiracy theorist. So don't take any Democrats seriously. Now, some Republicans like MTG, she's going to run for president, like Wayne Dupree said. And she's just using this as a differentiator to get her name out there. She's going to make her rounds on The View and all the dumb talk shows and talk about being nice. And she's going to turn on Trump, try to move in that lane. Massey and Ro Khanna, I think that might be a presidential ticket you see too. I mean, those two, they're clowns. They literally mentioned it. Massey mentioned it one time of all of Joe Biden's presidency. Ro Khanna didn't mention it at all in Biden's presidency. And now they're just using it for political capital. And what's tragic is there are real victims of Epstein, real people that should get justice, that it's just not going to happen. And it's not like Donald Trump sitting there saying, don't prosecute him. It's the institutions. It is the intelligence community, whoever he was working for, which we'll never know. It's just political gamesmanship. But even the victims, they're coming out there giving press conferences and speeches and whatnot. You guys know who they are. Tell us. You know what I mean? Like, they say MTG said, all they told me, or Massey or Ro Khanna, all they told me. Well, okay, you guys can go on the House floor and say what names they gave you. Hey, let me give you the list of names that we heard were clients. Not just people that flew to the island. Like that, like give us a list of client names. They can do it on the House floor, and they can suffer no repercussions other than if Mossad comes for them. So it's all political gamesmanship, and I'm just sick of it myself.
And you bring up the island. It's like everybody's just fixated on the island, but dude had pads all over the place. So right. I mean, he had connections. I'm not gonna say he had connections in every city, but God darn it, I mean, he made his rounds, and he had friends. And guess what? If you ever seen movies where people talk about, I got a guy, that's who Epstein was to all of these politicians and Hollywood people and stuff. He was the guy. I was going to say,
shout out to Michael Tarr on the Facebook. The intelligence community used the Epstein files as blackmail against the elite. I think if I had to summarize what I think the conclusion of Epstein is, I think that's it. I don't know if he worked for a particular agency or if he was just their guy, but I think that's probably, and that's also why we'll never see the files
again. And yeah, I mean, but the DOJ has had whatever they had for 5 months.
No, 4 or 5 years.
Well, I mean, Bondi, though. I'm talking about Bondi.
Oh, right.
Yeah. She's had him for about 4 or 5 months. That's enough time to do some stuff. For real. Because the stuff that's going to come out, like Jason said, and like I said, it's not going to be the original. It's not. Which brought me to this thing this morning, Jason. I don't care if it, well, but damn, you're right. The victims. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Because of the victims, I wish that they could have some smidgen. No, I wish they could have a mountain load of justice. Okay.
They're going to get none.
Now that I said that, I'll say this. I really don't care about the files anymore because we're not going to get it. We're not going to get what we were looking for in 2019. We're not going to get what we were looking for in 2020 or 2021 or 2022 or 2023 or 2024 and the early part of 2025. We're not going to get the files. We're not going to get those files. We're not going to get his files. We're going to get some, like Jason, you know how you had to blacked out this and blacked out that? It almost sounds like a transistor radio that has lost its signal. You know, that's it. And for the next year, because they're not going to get what they want, the Democrats are going to be, somebody's hiding something. Or the Republicans say, see, we told you, it's all them, it's not us. There is not any piece of air on God's green earth. Do I just think it's just Democrats? Sorry. I think it's a whole political it. I think the media is involved. I think the Democrats are involved. I think the Republicans are involved. I think the Hollywood is involved. And they don't have, because Epstein was friends with anybody that had power, that had power. Not the lower people. He messed with people that had money, people that knew how to get money. That's how he made his bones. Okay. So I'm 100% on board with what Jason just said. Not going to get it, or we're not going to get it in a way that is going to satisfy anybody. I mean, well, that's not going to satisfy most. It's going to satisfy some and say, see, told you, case closed. Let's move on. And then, like I said, it's going to go back. It's going to go down in history book. Jason, some of these people just might run on it. Well, what I mean, because I already said that, based on the release, if they release it, because again, it still has to go to the judge, and the judge said no already.
Well, here's what's interesting too. So last week there were the Epstein files that went to the oversight committee from the Epstein estate, 20,000 documents, right? And Democrats picked like 3 of them, 2 of which had already been released, that they released and made it a big news story. Then Republicans dumped the files. And if you go through the files, we haven't gone through all 20,000 pages, but we've started flushing through them. You see a pattern where after Epstein got pinched in Florida, and what year was that, 2008? Trump was the whistleblower, or one of the whistleblowers, when he got the sweetheart deal in 2008. That's before Trump was even in politics. He hated Trump. Trump banned him from Mar-a-Lago. Trump wouldn't hang out with him. The only time their paths cross is if they're both at a public event. But you see a lot of exchanges in the emails where the guy clearly doesn't like Trump. He's got an axe to grind with Trump. But what's fascinating is, did you look at the Stacey Plaskin stuff that came out? So Stacey Plaskin, she is you see her every now and then in Congress. Black woman, very dark complected, one of the screaming hysterical Democrats. And she is a representative from the Virgin Islands. Now, you might say, why do we have a member of the House of Representatives from the Virgin Islands? Well, they get a representative because they're a territory or whatnot, kind of like Puerto Rico. They don't get to vote. Ironically, Epstein Island is in her congressional district. Epstein helped give her money to campaign, to run for election, to be the whatever. She's on the House Intelligence Committee right now today. And in these documents they released, when in the 2019 impeachment hearing, Jeffrey was texting her questions to ask the witnesses while they were trying to impeach Trump. And it's funny, if you see the videos, people have actually synced up the texts from the files with the videos. And you'll see, like, hey, here's this question. She asks a question. Hey, here's the next question. You'll see her ask the question. And ironically, the person sitting right next to her is Ro Khanna. And Ro Khanna now is like, oh, Epstein this, Epstein that. But I mean, this came out last week. It's now fairly public. You see people talking about it. It's not on the mainstream news, but even the White House was talking about it. And no mainstream news outlet will touch it. No Democrat will come out. I mean, if they were serious about Epstein, like next to Prince Andrew, it's some of the most damning evidence I've seen of anybody in the Epstein files. And if Democrats were serious, they'd be like, okay, we're going to take her off these committees for right now, and we're going to investigate or something. But they don't care. And as somebody who's gone through a ton of Epstein documents, this one was new to me. I'm like, whoa. Like, we had speculated if there was some connection with him and the politicians, because, like I say, Epstein Island is in the Virgin Islands, and that's her district. And there was always speculation, but now that came out. That's a real story. Nobody's talking about it. So that's what the Epstein files will be. They'll release it and they'll pick apart, 4 documents that say something they can spin a certain way, instead of like this is a politician that should be excommunicated from Washington, D.C. for her involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. And many people don't care.
Yeah. Jason said that Epstein hated Trump. Looks like in that deposition, he tried to protect him. He said, I would like to answer that, but I plead the fifth. The question was like, have you socialized with Donald Trump? He said, yes. And then he's like, have you socialized with Donald Trump with females under the age of 17 or 16 and whatnot? And then he paused for a second. And he was like, I would like to answer that today, but I'm going to have to plead the fifth. Can't say. I mean, if you take people just for that, he didn't say whether he did anything wrong. He didn't say that he did do anything wrong. He just protected him. And that reporter, Wolf, that reporter guy who's been trying to get President Trump since the first administration, since his first term, kept saying, look, you go on break, you say that, you come out there and say. He never did. He never put President Trump's name out there or anything like that, Now, I'm not defending dude, though, because dude is... Jason, I saw a video yesterday where they brought this guy back. The guy was dead. The guy was clinically dead. And they brought him back to life. And he was laying on the gurney. When he brought him back to life, he was like, oh! And he was kicking, and his arms and stuff, and his legs were kicking. And there was a little thing says he was trying to get away from wherever he was at. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah. I mean, Jeffrey is somewhere in his own hell right now. Okay, he's in his own hell. But this I look at the Epstein files like I do Obamacare. It's just tentacles everywhere. It's touching everything, and whoever holds the pen controls the narrative. that's how it was in Rome and the Bible and stuff, you know. As for
Well,
me,
I think if you look at the right and the left, and you see our established political class, so your Nancy Pelosi's, your Chuck Schumer on one side, your Mitch McConnell's, John Thune's, Mike Johnson, now Kevin McCarthy on the other. So your establishment politicians, right? And then we have MAGA, they have the squad. And those people are kind of political outsiders, you know, to kind of frame it up. So you have your establishment, and then you have your outsiders on both political sides. Well, all your political class, both on the right and left, they're all over the files, even them, their donors, their supporters, all of them. And if we ever saw all the files and knew all the clients, like I say, it would we would live in an entirely different world, because you would see radical changes. I don't think we're going to see it. I wish we would, but I don't think we're going to. Democrats only care about it as political capital against Trump. Trump, like, I think, has reached the conclusion that nobody's going to be prosecuted. So it's kind of like Hillary with the emails. I think that's why he didn't make it an issue. And Trump said he would release files. It was never like one of his campaign promises. People would ask him, like, hey, what about the Epstein files? And he's like, yeah, I'll release them. I don't care.
Yeah. You know, we'll kind of think we'll kind of come back to that one.
Yeah, it's not like that was his, like, hey guys, elect me and I'll release the Epstein files. People would ask him about him. He's like, yeah. And I think Trump's smart enough to know, okay, they're going to get these files. They're going to spend 6 months or a year bitching about what's missing or not missing, and nobody's going to jail, you know. And some could be Trump donors or people, you know, that Trump owes favors to, just like, you know, there's a bunch of politicians that owe favors to rich people. So, yeah, sadly, no Epstein customers will be prosecuted, which is what we all want. But
and one more thing. Let us not forget. Now, if the roles were reversed, and I tweeted about this earlier, you would think that Republicans would be doing the same thing. Republicans would be doing the same thing. And what do I mean by that? I still think it's Bondi's fault. She's supposed to be the top dog. She's supposed to be, I mean, honestly, to me right now, she's worse than Bill Barr. And I ain't gonna take that back. You don't get in front of a camera and say that you got all this stuff. You don't do it. Prosecutors never do that. Let's be honest. Prosecutors never say, we got all this stuff, goddamn it, we got all of it, and we're gonna do everything. And then a month or so later, no, it's just not enough there. We're not gonna prosecute. Prosecutors don't do that. But basically, she was like, we got all this stuff. We got, man, the files, all the stuff that's on my desk. Oh, the stuff you should see. And then she goes and gets so-called top influencers, brings them in, gives them binders, takes pictures coming out of the White House. It was not only that, it was like a silent spy type thing, because we didn't even know they were there. And then all of a sudden, they coming out the door with the files and like holding them up like trophies and stuff. Okay. Then the next thing you see is President Trump and they were having a cabinet meeting. President Trump was, well, you know, I handed over to the DFD. I handed over to the DOJ. If they want to release it, they can release it. What'd she say? Nope. Right there in the cabinet meeting. Nope, there's nothing there. I mean, nothing. It's fine. Bondi did this. When all that is put together, when that whole script line is put together, what do you think your first inclination is that somebody's covering up something? Right?
Well, yeah, and
it's only human.
So if you look at like the binders that they gave out, here's what's ironic. Those guys didn't even know they were getting the binders.
Really?
Like, it was when Trump first got in the White House. It was the new media. He was bringing people in. Those folks all got suckered into going for something else. And then they got there and they're like, hey guys, here's your binders. So if you go look at those pictures of those guys standing there with the binders, Like, and some of them are looking like, what the hell's this? That's because they didn't know. And like they hadn't had time to look through them or whatnot. They were there for a separate meeting. And then it was like, hey, here's the binders. Yeah, Pam, huge disappointment. I mean, Pam, Cash, the Department of Justice, all of them.
FBI,
like,
yeah.
I'll even say, like, I like what Holman's doing. His hands have probably been tied too much. I think Holman's doing all right. We'll see these next 6 months. They got their new funding. They got more agents. So
and
we'll
they
see
got
what
rid
happens.
of some leadership. Did you hear about that? They got rid of some of the leadership that was in some of those states.
Yep. Yeah, and so I mean, like, we haven't got the perp walks. Nobody, the deep state has not been destroyed. Lawfare has not been stopped. None of it. And I mean, this Epstein file thing, if you're sitting there going, there's no way that there weren't rich and powerful people that did bad things. You're right. There is no way. These people are more powerful than the president of the United States, and they are not going to be prosecuted. This just in. That's not going to happen. Nope. And I wish it wasn't the case. I think if we actually like went after all the clients of Epstein, we would see.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yes. 100% yes, Terry. Yes. 100%. Yes, with a big old on my chest. Yes. I'm saying she's lying. Now, you want to go tell her. But yes.
Well, let's put it in perspective, too. The previous DOJ, how much time did they spend tracking down every January 6th person ever? Like grandma wandering around the Capitol.
Huge face technician.
Yeah, I mean, they went after everybody. So even if you're like, okay, Pam's bad, well, Merrick Garland and those guys, like, they weren't going after it either. That just means if both a Democrat administration and a Republican administration are hands off, we have just learned there are people more powerful than the government. There are people that are too rich. They're untouchable. We've heard this before, and it's true. Yeah, John Quest with spot on. I mean, if exposed, it brings down the whole system, which at this point needs to be destroyed. And Mark with the I want public floggings. Like, yeah, I'm reaching the point with just crime in general that we just need to be more aggressive. I mean, it's like the Maryland dad, Kilimanjaro or whatever his name is. He's still here. You know, like Trump's coming up on a year in office.
I thought they moved him to Africa already.
No. Well, they moved him. He came back. He hasn't been sent to. He's still here. And it's the courts, the legal system. Everybody's fighting. I mean, the guy had a deportation order in like 2019. And his initial deportation, the only issue was they said you couldn't send him back to El Salvador. And they couldn't find another country to take him. So they said, screw it, let's send him to El Salvador. He's still, think of this, one clown that had a standing deportation order. Our system is so jacked that you can't even get him out of the country. So
what's crazy is that the DOJ and even Trump, they were like, we ain't bringing him back. And then next thing you know, he's being brought
back. They
had
to. The courts ordered him to. I mean, these courts are just doing insane things. Like, oh, yeah, Trump can't do that. And it's like, are you kidding me?
You know the thing about the Trump about refusing to go after Clinton, that one hurt there, John. That one hurt. That one hurt after
100% true.
The 2016 election. That one hurt because Jason, I remember that interview like it was yesterday. I have never forgot that interview because it happened in December, right before January, and 60 Minutes. It was 60 Minutes, and what was it? Leslie Stahl. Leslie Stahl was, dude. I remember that. It's like, you're not really. I was like, yes. He's like, well, for the good of the country, probably not. Something wrong with my remote. What the hell? Like, what the hell? What did he say? What is this? I was like, oh man. But yeah, I remember that. But I said, the way she crafted that thing, though, I was waiting for him to say, yeah, we're gonna, because I want to see her face, because that face is kind of messed up when she asked the question. I can't even believe that she asked that question, because I was like, oh, she's putting on the defense. Even if he would have said yes, she would have pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. So, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say I want nothing more than the Trump that the left fever dreams. That's the Donald Trump I want elected. That's a Donald Trump I want. I want the guy who thinks he's a king, who doesn't listen to anything, who impeaches the judges, that's the Trump I want. Instead, and Donald Trump will still go down as the best president of my lifetime. I don't think there's been anybody better. But, the fact is Donald Trump took a high road with Hillary that he shouldn't have. Hillary was guilty. Hillary should have been convicted. Now, term 2, he's going after some of these guys like mortgage fraud or whatnot. You had Arctic Frost come out, which I don't know if you've looked much into that whole.
I've heard about it, but I don't know too much about it.
Epoch Times did a really good breakdown of it. If you're looking for something to read, I can send you the link. They broke down Operation Arctic Frost, and essentially what the Department of Justice, Jack Smith, did is they surveilled a bunch of Republican senators. They called anybody who questioned 2020 an insurrectionist, and then they just surveilled them all. So that's clearly not what it should be done. Like, American citizens don't get to be, even if you're in the House or Senate, don't get to be surveilled without. That's what Nixon got impeached for, And Arctic Frost is horrible, and they're exposing it. The information's coming out, but nobody's going to go to jail. So, yeah, I want Donald Trump to show up, declare himself Galactic Emperor, just start, going Bukele. It's not going to happen.
If he does it, he's going to have to do it before next November, because after that, and I know some people are going to feel bad when I say this, but after November, he's almost like a lame duck. That's what we usually say to presidents in their second term after the midterms going into a couple of years. Only a few presidents, probably through history, have really done anything in their last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because most of Congress, you think that some of the Congress members are going to be out next year. A lot more Congress and probably even some senators are going to be out in the next year after that.
Yeah, there's 47 people not running for re-election.
47.
Between House and Senate.
Yep.
And K-Gun Girl, he better get things done, because if not, they're coming for him. They are.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I think you're going to see a reality. Here's reality. Trump's been in there. The election's about a year old. He gets sworn in January. So January is his 1 year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Trump has done some good things. Donald Trump has not got enough done he hasn't brought prices down like as fast as he should have. He hasn't, his results haven't taken hold, and Democrats control the messaging now. And so going into midterms, legislatively, they've got nothing done. Budgets, they've got nothing done. Government shutdown, there'll be another government shutdown in January. Healthcare, even though it's Obamacare's fault, is going to fall on the Republicans because they didn't vote to extend the tax credits. And like everybody here on the podcast is like, oh, Obamacare's bad, we need to get rid of it, rah, rah. But the fact is, people are going to see their health care go up, and then there's a new election 10 months later. So if right now we're on pace to lose the House in the midterms.
Right now, as things are set, Obamacare premiums are going to double next month.
Yep.
And then Americans are going to be all over that.
Yes.
And it's like that. See, and Jason, again, I go back to what I was saying before the election. President Trump needed to needed to do that fireside chat, let people know from the Oval Office there's nothing wrong with it. He can do it. He's president of the United States. Get on there and explain, tell them, dude, I mean, yeah, this is what's happening. The Obamacare premiums, and he's not above going after Republicans publicly. Yeah, I've asked Republicans for the thing. I did it in 2017. They didn't give it to me. I asked them for the beginning of this year. They didn't give it to me. I'm waiting on my party to turn against them. Because they took what 46 days, 45 days, whatever. It's a freaking vacation. That's what it was, a freaking vacation. And that one, and all they were doing is getting on social media. Democrats fault. Well, what are y'all doing?
Pass along.
What are y'all doing? So yeah, I mean.
Well, here's what's going to be scary. So the Republicans aren't getting anything done, and let's say we lose midterms. Trump's end of his presidency is largely lame duck. Going into 2028, the American First Patriots, all of us that weren't politically engaged, that hated the Republican Party because they were Mitt Romney and John McCain, are we going to be politically motivated in 2028?
That's the thing, right?
And what's going to happen is this huge MAGA movement that Donald Trump's done. God love him, what it's done for him and his family and the hell he's gone through. I mean, are we all really going to rally to go support Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio or, JD Vance is going to fix this?
Yeah.
No. I mean, we'll be entering communist hellhole for a while till people get pissed enough and want to save America, and Donald Trump had that. If not for Donald Trump, 2016, 2020 would have been Hillary term 1, Hillary term 2, because the Republican Party had nothing. And who knows what the country would look like now? Who knows what I mean, Joe Biden just letting in all the illegals and all the money he was spending and all those things, but we don't want to see another, mushy, squishy Republican who's not going to do anything.
Right.
So you're going to see Democrats win.
And listen to what Jason said about the squishy part, because when Donald Trump came along, you knew that you were getting a masculine type of individual. That's who he was. That's Donald Trump. He was that on TV show. He was that when he was building stuff. That's who he was.
That's who he is.
That's who he is. You don't see nobody on the Republican side right now. I ain't talking about JD Vance, but you don't see a whole lot of people on the Republican side that's like that. You can fake it for a couple of campaign stops and everything and get it written in your little things. You can fake it. But then when we look back at who you are in the Senate or in the House or wherever you come from, when we look at you, you weren't like that. So you're going to revert right back to who you were, like many of the people in Congress do. We're going to do this. We're going to do all this. And when they get in there, oath, Constitution. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I have a meeting with who? APAC? Yeah, sure. Let him in.
Oh, no.
Let him in. Yeah.
I saw yesterday the Chiron was the MAGA Civil War. Here's the breakdown of that. Are you pro-Israel or are you let's leave Israel to do their own thing? That is the MAGA Civil War. Mark Levin really think, Ben Shapiro really think we really, really, really need to be worried about Israel. Many of us are like, we really, really, really need to be worried about America. Mm-hmm. And I look at anybody who I identify as an Israeli American the same as I look as Ilhan Omar, who says, I identify as a Somalian. Well, Ilhan, go to Somalia. Well, Ben, if you're that worried about Israel, go to Israel. Like, God love you, wish you the best in your home nations.
Yep.
In here, around these parts, we're worried about America. Just saying.
Oh.
Well, and here's an interesting one, too, is, Diane, we should rally around the Republican candidate to keep what President Trump fought for the American people. I don't disagree with that. And Donald Trump, like, I got involved in doing political stuff because of Donald Trump. Like, I can't tell people how much I hated the Republican Party. Mitt Romney was the investment banker. John McCain was the warmonger that sent white trash like me to go die in the Middle East. I hated the Republican Party. I still hate the Republican Party. I like Donald Trump and the Make America Great and the American First Movement. That's what I love. I want us to worry about America. And there's some good things. Like, we're now kind of the party of peace, although he's done a few things that I haven't really agreed with. The Israel stuff, Middle East stuff, that's all bad. But I don't see Donald Trump's successor coming. And if we're just going to get another controlled decline in a Republican, I don't think people will turn out to vote for him. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, to get a legit stomach, spine, heavy person like somebody that's going to say, I am somebody that you can believe that is going to at least try to very hard attempt to even take down the deep state. There aren't that many people out there like that. There aren't. No. I mean, Rand would have got taken down real quick. Cruz, look, I'll give Ted Cruz some white paint for his house. That's the closest he's ever getting to the White House. What's the woman's name? What's that woman's name that ran for president? That one.
A Republican?
Yeah, she ran in 2016.
Yeah.
Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? She was on the kiddie table and then she made it to the main stage with Fred.
Yeah, she did not do well. I can't remember her name. Oh my God, can you imagine too? And I mean, I like JD Vance. JD Vance says the right things.
No, it wasn't Nikki Haley.
I like his story, but I want to see JD Vance do something.
Right.
And that's always the thing with Trump. He comes out, he's very blustery, and then you see the things he's done, and he's done some good things. And a lot of times not even things people talk about, but he's very blustery.
Carly Farina.
Vance, what's that?
Carly Farina.
Oh, yes. Well, I wonder what she's doing nowadays.
Probably in charge of some firm. Well, Wayne, why do you look at her? Why do you do your face like that? Have you seen her?
Google the video.
Don't look
well, I gotta say too, to like Ronald Hopkins, thanks for tuning in, Ronald. But he's talking about we need more JD Vances and less Grahams and McConnells. Here's the thing: we don't know what we have in JD Vance, other than he says good things.
And he says them, and because he's trying to impress President Trump. We don't know about JD Vance yet. We don't know what JD Vance will do. Now, I might, if JD Vance is a candidate, I might vote and just roll the dice and hope he does good things. But I wouldn't be shocked if JD Vance is a flop. Like, it's not the wildest conspiracy theory that JD Vance is not what we think he is. I mean, we'll see. Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, I appreciate Jay for saying that, because that's how I've felt about JD from the beginning. It wasn't that I hated JD, because I don't know JD Vance. Kun Girl says we don't know about Rubio either. Well, in a way we do. We do know he was part of the Gang of Eight. We do know that he has some ties to the establishment. So we do know about Marco Rubio. He has a track record.
Yeah, I mean, Marco Rubio's pretty effective at what Trump's had him do. He's really good at the job he's in. Because as long as you say, go get a Marco, here's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
He's I would say Rubio is like that really good offensive or defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Where you get a head coach. Hey, here's what you need to do. Rubio's really good. I worry about Rubio being in charge because of who owns Rubio.
Yeah.
And I think Rubio, when left to his own devices to pick which hill to climb, I don't know if he would pick the right hills, Yeah. It's funny. So, like, things you don't think about with Trump. Trump's quietly been doing a lot of deregulation. They've been shutting down agencies. They've been doing things. This past weekend, I had lunch with a friend of mine, Jim. He's the Democrat friend. I talk about him a lot. And he works for a large outsourcing company, one of the biggest in America, that does human resources, safety, kind of all for companies. So as a company, if you need HR help, you need benefit help, you need safety help or whatnot, because all the government regulations, you would contact this company, you'd contract them. And my buddy, he does safety. That's kind of his wheelhouse. So he goes to factories and does their audits, make sure they're compliant with everything. But he was talking about how all the Trump deregulation that they have done has made his company terrified because people are saying, well, now some of this stuff is getting simple enough. We don't need your services.
Mm-hmm.
And just by eliminating a lot of things, it's not reported a lot with all the regulations Trump's removed, the agencies he shut down, but it's having real world effects in this company he works for, which is a huge company, publicly traded. Like they're like scrambling because they're like, we're starting to lose clients because they're realizing without all this government regulation, they don't need our services. So it's kind of an interesting thing, but we just don't talk about deregulation. And I mean, there's so much more deregulation that needs to happen.
Jason, JD, since we were talking about JD, I was watching a video of him talking about AI, and he said something that even my son was like, that does not sound right. He said that we all need to welcome the thing about AI and don't believe all the bad stuff there because jobs will increase and paychecks will increase with the implementation of AI. I was like, what? What? The experts are saying that Americans are going to be losing their jobs because AI is coming in. There's a force. I don't know whether you have heard about it, but there's a company that has brought in a force of these robots to start doing human jobs. To me, I was like, man, that sounds like somebody who is friends with Silicon Valley, the
tech billionaires.
The tech billionaires. That's what that sounds like. Just right there. And if you're running against, and I'm not even saying run against a Democrat, if you run against another Republican that hears JD Vance say that, all that other Republican candidate has to do is say, well, I'm for Americans and Americans having jobs. I'm not for the AI doing all this. Boom. Whoever that person is, they get a little leg up on JD real fast because if you're for the AI to come in, these robots, these humanoids or whatever they call it, these things are walking like regular people. Did you see over in China? You see that thing?
Yeah, here's the reality is AI is coming. AI can't be stopped. AI is like the internet. When the internet was coming, everybody was saying all this stuff.
It's over, Jason.
Because of the internet, everybody's going to lose their jobs, blah, 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 blah. And the fact is, things will be different. Like civilization will still exist. We are not two robots doing all the work yet. I mean, we'll figure it out. AI's terrifying. The media creation of AI is even worse. But for those of us who lived through the internet, and like we all Wayne, the internet didn't exist when Wayne and I graduated from high school, and now it's how we make our living. So
I remember I remember when it came out.
Right.
That's how crazy it was. I remember when it came out.
Right.
Netscape Navigator and Internet Explorer. I remember both of them.
Yeah, I mean, AI is just different. I mean, people will.
But Jason, the internet didn't have arms and legs. And it didn't have dogs that could carry heavy artillery, and it didn't have electronic birds that could fly and drop bombs on people.
I mean, we could just be living in the early stages of the Terminator. I'm not discounting that.
Skylab is the funnest.
Here's what's going to be funny, though. Where AI, I think, will make the biggest impact is going to be in some of your white-collar jobs. And your blue-collar jobs, they'll still need plumbers. They'll still need mechanics. We'll still need people to put in the roads. We'll still need roofers. You know, what we won't need is MRI techs to read your x-rays, because that can be done by computer now. They can do it much more fast and accurate than people can. Lawyers, like the law industry, going to change a lot.
Done.
You know,
done.
You can program like if you build out your AI right, like you can process stuff pretty well.
Like that.
Yeah.
Boom, like that. And you know, you get in front of an AI judge, they don't have emotions. Now, I did Stephen Hawking, or there was somebody real smart, one of the smartest people said, if you somehow program AI to have emotions, then it's over. As long as it doesn't have emotions, it's fine. Well, not fine, but you can control. If it starts to develop emotions, or if you, and some stupid idiot will do it. Some stupid idiot will somehow think that it will give emotions, but I can control it. Okay.
Well, here's what's funny. I don't know if you saw this. So the big AI guy at Meta. So all AI right now is built on what they call a learning language model, where it reads things and you don't teach it like logical thinking so much as you teach it to like interpret the language and regurgitate. That's why it does really well when you ask it like some black and white yes or no answer. It does really well. When you ask it like intuitive answers, it doesn't do as well. So if you say like how many people voted for Joe Biden in Vermont in 2020, it will tell you the exact number. It's really good for that. But if you say like, why did Joe Biden win the election? It doesn't do so good with that. But the head of Meta's AI left because they were keeping him pigeonholed in that learning language model instead of like the quantitative thinking where you teach robots to think model. And so he's going to go off to do something there. I'm like, oh, well, here goes Skynet.
Well, tomorrow we'll have an update on what's happening today.
What do you think? Unanimous or not, Wayne? Will it pass? Yeah. Unanimous? I mean, we all know it's going to pass.
Yeah, it'll be unanimous. I don't know if it's going to be unanimous in the Senate, but it'll probably pass in the Senate, because you only need a couple in the Senate. You only need 6 or 7 in the Senate. Because all the Democrats in the Senate are going to. So then it's going to go to President Trump. President Trump is going to sign it, and then it's up to not the DOJ. It's up to the judge.
Yep.
It's up to the judge, and somehow Jason, I can see it right now. I said no. I'm going to say no again. It can't be released, and President Trump's going to say, well, that's it, done. Judge just told you. So. Take it up with the judge. We did all we could do. So, but yeah, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. And we're going to talk about this Marjorie Taylor Greene thing, because I had the video here. She basically called President Trump a traitor today. She's, I kind of sort of hit on it a little bit yesterday, but I didn't come out and say it. But a scorned woman is the worst thing. A scorned woman is the worst thing. Yeah, he might have went after AOC and Jasmine Crockett and all that. Those 3 aren't Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not, and for her to come out today and say that, President Trump gave her a label too, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I was like, God darn, that thing works. But
here's the thing: Trump got to tell MTG wasn't going to support her running for governor or senator because she just doesn't have the polling numbers.
I felt that. I felt that's why she was. I felt that's why she started, because she was, and plus she was still in the House. She didn't get no major positions and stuff like that. I was like,
no,
you know,
MTG
and then
thought she'd be a player. Yeah, she's not a player.
You know, so
but here's what's going to be funny: Ro Khanna, Massey, and MTG. Somehow there's going to be some unity party that comes out of that. That's going to be dead end Republicans and dead end Democrats. I don't know what it's going to look like, but there's something there.
And you know what? I was thinking about that too. In a way, I was thinking about that when, again, she's still talking about, on her timeline, she was responding to Mike Cernovich or something, and she starts talking about the Bible, and she starts talking about scriptures, and then the politics today is just, it's like, wait a minute, you helped it get that way, but okay, all right. I mean, you know, if that, okay, I see where you're going. See, some of the people out there want to call the names and stuff. Okay, and I was one of those. But right now, I'm looking at what she's doing, and I'm trying, and I'm not trying. I understand what she's doing, and I'm telling you, she's gonna be dangerous if she gets a footing. She's gonna be dangerous because she's going for the women's vote. Just listen to how she talks. She got on the View. We need to work. You know, you have your way of thinking. I have our way of thinking, but we all need to remember. You know, we all need to stick behind each other. Really? You said that on The View? Clap. Next thing you're going to see here on, mark my words, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy, the other Jimmy,
Fallon,
and you're going to see her on Seth Meyers. Watch. You're going to see her on that. And then she can make a return appearance on Bill Maher. She's rounding it. She rounding it. I'm telling you, next June, exploratory committee.
Mark it down. Yeah, I got to say, right now, it's going to be her, Ro Khanna, and Massey. I don't know who else is going to join the fray, but it's just people that have no future in their existing party. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is probably right. She's done in the Republican Party. When Trump's gone, you'll see the MAGA people just get rolled out of the Republican Party. So,
but you know what though? I thought about this too, Jason. And then I'll let you have your say. I thought about this. President Trump says that he wants to primary Massey and he wants to primary MTG. You can primary him, but they ain't gonna lose.
Yeah, he'll go for 2 on those.
They ain't gonna lose. Their constituents want them to do that right now. I'm sorry that they're going to be back in there, and I don't know whether and the money that she's not getting it from AIPAC. I tell you that, but she's getting money from somewhere. I don't know who, but she's getting money from somewhere. So, all right, Jason, we're going to talk about that and some more tomorrow. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to check out rbmnews.com, Red Voice Media, and don't forget to check out thedupriereport.com for news, topics, and stuff that you might not see on other websites. We kind of go after other stories and other things that you might not see, and we want to keep you updated on that too. All right, especially this Olivia Nuzzi thing, whatever this thing. She's back in the news. That's the one with RFK Jr. or Olivia Nuzzi. Jason, to you.
All right, folks. Thank you for a great Taco Tuesday. Few thoughts. One, be safe. I don't know about you guys. Slow start to winter in Minnesota. Get outside and enjoy the weather while you can. Before you know it, it'll be 30 below and a foot of snow. It looks like most of the country hasn't been wintry. Thought 2, Next week is Thanksgiving. Wayne will reveal the big Thanksgiving week schedule one of these next couple days. And then final thoughts. I brought it up last week. We never got to it. We need to talk Thanksgiving dishes before the end of this week. Jen and I got to go grocery shopping. We need some ideas.
Yeah.
And so put that on your calendar, folks. Little Thanksgiving dinner food talk. On that note, we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Yeah, Thanksgiving talk, man. You know, there's a joke. Why didn't the chicken cross the road?
Why?
Because there was a turkey on the other side.